good night, good night, good night, good night. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. Tonight we have some exciting stuff, in country that has a lot of crime going on. And tonight we have, a special guest on the show who's gonna maybe help us and give us some insight about what is going on in the country a little bit, right? So, but this is not the person introducing the all. No, Nika and Ryan. Let's give her a round of applause. And then we have Rodney in the house. Let's give Rodney a round of applause. I don't know Mark Ned. And last but not least, so let's know Eva there. Let's give Eva something.
Good night, Facebook, good night, YouTube. Welcome back to the Real Talk Show, guys. And we are live here again at number 12 Anna Street, Woodbrook. And tonight we have more of a serious topic for you, but we still want to hear what you all think. I mean, this is a really big thing that's going on in Trinidad now. Some years ago, or a lot of years ago, I should say, crime wasn't even a big thing in Trinidad, and now it's like every day you're hearing multiple murders and all kind of craziness. All right, so tonight, as Kyle told you all, we have a special guest. All right, and we also want to hear what you, Trinidad and Tobago, think what we could do even as citizens, what we could do as the church to help in the situation. All right, and once you all comment, just tell me that you're here, just tell me that you're viewing. You all could win some really awesome prizes. All right, we have tonight a Mega Mark free diagnostic test voucher here for you. We also have another giveaway sponsored by Megamark, a 32 gig flash drive, and all you do is just comment to win one of these awesome prizes. All right, and we also have a $75 gift voucher sponsored by Organic Heaven. So all you have to do is comment to win one of these awesome prizes. I'll give you a little bit more details on the sponsors later on in the show, because I really want us to get into the good stuff, right, which we're going back to Kyle for. So stay tuned, guys. Begin to share like crazy, because we now getting things started and we want to hear what you all think. All right, let me know. Even if you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to ask them tonight. All right, we're gonna get this show started. Kyle, back to you.
Hey, awesome stuff, y'all. We went hunting and we find Keelan the hunter. But before we show up his video, Mark, where was today, Mark?
Me, I was in Belmont. They were having a community outreach. It had various churches was there, and it was great. We even had rain, and the rain was a blessing. And well, I tried my hand at some stand-up comedy, and well, I'm sitting down now, so I'll stand up for a little while. Well, it was good.
It was good. I happy people real laugh.
Yeah, the real laugh. I thank God for that. God give me a face that once you watch it,
As a for a comedian, you're playing a comedic role. If people do laugh at your joke,
That's tough.
yeah,
That's real tough.
that is my biggest fear. Actually, we a long time you'll be afraid people laugh at you. My biggest fear is that they don't laugh at me.
And you all seen a face on the show that you all never saw before is Rodney. How is pronounced your last name again, Rodney?
Gilarte.
Sorry?
Gilarte.
Gilarte? Yeah, it's a unique hair. I all seen you. Why do you silent? Explain to them. That's
It's
now?
French. It's a French, Spanish,
Oh, so that
Catalonia type thing.
Oh,
So,
okay. So
for all
Rodney,
those Barca fans out there, it's
all the Barca fans. So
that's for all the Barca fans.
That fancy
We
house
have Barca
boy.
fans in the
Yeah,
house.
that region is where the name is from.
Oh,
okay.
you're a Barca fan because of that?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know where you.
I'm a Tottenham Hotspur fan.
Oh, okay. That's sad. Yeah, last year.
Really?
Whoa.
Well, they say in Champions League, that's a sad moment when.
Oh, we made the final last year. So last season.
better
we
than
made the
nothing
final.
else.
Better than most.
Yes.
You're
Better
taking
than
this thing
Man
too
City.
serious.
Better than the Liverpool fans. Yeah.
Wait, Liverpool!
We are Liverpool fans. That's a big Liverpool fan here.
Yeah, stick for Liverpool fans.
So Rodney, where's your background? I know we're going into the show, but get the people and I'm like, where you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
There's a number of things I do, but my background has mainly been it's very diverse.
Yeah.
Because years ago, I joined the Marine Corps. I went to high school here because my parents were missionaries.
Yeah.
And then after high school, I joined the Marines and went into the infantry. So I did 4 years full time, and then I got out, went to school. I actually got involved in the music industry as an engineer, as an audio engineer.
Okay.
And then 2001 rolls around, and I went back to war. So, I kind of left the whole audio thing behind, and war and combat became a full-time thing. So
Okay, so what you used to do in your war?
I was
in
a-
radio by? I don't know.
Well, I was a paratrooper.
Oh, okay.
So my
okay.
job was to jump out airplanes
Uh-huh.
at night
To
into
jump out
combat.
airplanes?
Yeah, so I have 20-something jumps.
Oh, so you went
Wow.
skydiving and nothing already?
Well, it's different from skydiving.
I know, I just joking. man.
Wow.
Skydiving's easy compared to this.
So the first time you ever did that, it was normal? You felt normal?
Nothing's normal jumping out.
Right?
of an airplane.
Exactly.
There's nothing
What
normal
part
about
of that
jumping
is
out of an
normal?
airplane.
They
Jumping
give
out of
you
an
a
airplane.
parachute.
Oh, of course, of course, of course.
So you feel you're alive, man. You just jump out.
So the purpose of that was to go in, you know, and not be seen. So you
Right.
go at
Well,
night.
you ever seen? Well, no, this kind of jumping, you'll definitely be seen. So, it's you ever saw? I don't know if anybody's seen Band of Brothers. It was a series on HBO.
Nah, I know. What's up.
And it talked, where they in World War II in Normandy, and they put.
That's based on its like the movie we had before with what's his
Yeah,
name?
it's based on that.
Yeah, okay,
But
cool, yeah.
the idea of this type of training
Private Ryan.
and this type of insertion is to put thousands of troops on the ground without touching the ground.
Okay.
So they just fly over, they dump out thousands and thousands of troops, and
Okay.
you jump anywhere from 600 feet off the ground to 2,000 feet, depending on the situation. So you can jump as low as 600 feet.
Wow.
Okay.
So you're basically down in 30 seconds. And the
Serious.
idea is to get down as quickly as possible with as many as possible. But of course, you're in a big parachute, so everybody can see you and shoot at you.
Sorry.
So like, there's a personal time you ever got shot before? Coming on that thing?
No, not shot.
Never got shot?
I've never had a combat jump, but we
Okay.
trained for it because lots of times they don't require it. Most of the time when I was in combat, it was either a vehicle or a helicopter that we were using.
So you was where in Afghanistan?
Iraq,
Iraq? Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you all jump in the day or the night?
mostly at night.
Oh,
I was
I was
just
thinking
saying.
I jumped in the night with a black parachute.
Which you all do?
Yeah, well, no, it's not black. It's like olive green.
Yeah, like a
Military
blending.
green.
You don't look at movies?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I just
I think it was
asking,
green.
man.
So you got homework now. Go and watch Band of Brothers.
Okay,
And
okay.
you'll see what that was from World War II, but it's pretty much the same concept.
Same concept.
Yeah, and my job specifically, I was the guy on the radio that talked to the airplanes that drop bombs.
Oh, so you
So
see,
if-
you used to talk on the radio.
So I had two radios on me. One I talked to my team, and one I talked to the aircraft, and I tell them where
Oh.
to drop bombs, who to strafe, who to shoot at. So if we get in a firefight and it's overwhelming, we call in aircraft night or day, and so my job was to tell them
So you
where
used
the
to call
bad
the
guys
shots?
were. Huh?
You used to call the shots.
I would call the shots. So I'd have like an F-18 or a Apache helicopter or Cobras or any kind of platform that shoots missiles and guns. I was the ground controller, told them who to shoot and where to shoot.
Wow.
Because
I envy you.
they
Anyhow.
say that happens to people in jail, where they have a phone
Yeah.
and they call.
Well, there's a way to fix that, but they didn't want to. So,
With this, who call
They
and
say where to bomb.
where
that
to
kind of
bomb. So we have local military
Yeah.
in jails.
Well,
Okay.
I
local
don't know if
controllers.
It's a kind of similar job description.
Calling shots from the prison.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let me go into. We have Kilani Hunter. We have a little video. He went on the streets to find out what Trinidad and Tobago think about crime, what is really happening, right? So let me drop that video and let me see what I go on.
Come on, I guess I'm just a misfit, huh? Yeah. Not coming right now? No, not coming right now? Yeah, I listen.
Alright, all we out here, we keeping it real. Let it be real. With the boss Aaron, he can give us some insight, yeah? Let it be real. So, bro, you tell me why you think crime in Trinidad so bad.
Well, personally, I think that music has a lot to influence the.
Gaza.
Yeah. Is that self? The whole violence, the gun, who the baddest, the this, the that, and like with the whole Zessa vibe. What?
Everybody want to be a Zessa, A real hot stuff, let it be real.
It's because of a breakdown in family life. No role models in the home.
There's a lack of discipline at an earlier age.
It's the household you're from, because sometimes you look at what is around you and you try to fit in and try to be the best and the baddest at it then.
We don't have a lot of social programs that can instruct the youth on how to do certain things or constructive manner.
Single mothers, or not just single mothers, but single parents at home.
And also the community that you're from, sometimes you have no choice than to be in it.
From an early age, kids are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, and there is no guidance.
Sometimes it's just to fit in with the others and not to seem like a punk.
A lot of kids don't, unfortunately, finish
school at a certain time, and so what they tend to do is they go to the easier buck, which is to try and go into crime, drugs, and so forth. So
No God in the home.
No God in the home.
No values in the home. Yeah, that's the reason.
Valueless homes, that dangerous. Let me be real.
we have a lot of murders in the country that are unsolved. A lot of cold cases. I mean, for example, the last 2 cases I could think of, 2 people that I knew, Roger Jackson and Raymond Chukong, were both murdered in their homes, and neither case has either had any sort of development or anything like that.
What we could do to change that? I don't know what we could do. What we could do about crime?
We reach a stage now where it really hard to stop. It really
Hard.
It hard because personally I know I would have friends who would say they have gun at home, and I'd be like, what and where you have this gun? Boy, that gun hide away. So it hard to stop. It's something already in our society.
Men hiding gun and thing, boy. They all you know, we fed up with the gunman thing, all you know.
Family life need to change. Once there's a breakdown, we need to re-establish the family life. Fathers are not picking up their father figure, their roles in the home, as I said. They're not the high priest of the home, they're not leading the home. And what we need is the fathers to understand their responsibilities, not just breed and move on. You need
breed and move
on.
All you listen now.
You need to stay and nurture. You need to stay and nurture. Amen? That's the reason why we're having the problems in the home.
Yeah, people just want to breed and move on.
Larry, be real.
Let's be real.
Larry, be real.
Some stuff there. You all hear about people say music.
Yeah.
And different, you know, like
True.
society and yeah. But what do you think about that? Do you think music have a...
Of course, I remember, you know, I'm going to give away my age here, but I remember when dub became a thing in Trinidad. It wasn't. Dub was unheard of. I would travel in maxis at that time, and I literally saw people's behavior change, the way they dress change, the way they spoke change. They actually started to adopt the Jamaican vibes. Now, so this is a lot of years ago, right?
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, you know, the dub and the
lot of
dance hall.
years.
You actually saw a whole violent, you know, because the songs were filled with violence and that kind of thing. And I saw before my very eyes young men change their whole persona to adapt to this dub music and then rap, and you know, and then it kept going on and on
Have
and
you
on.
heard
So-
of like gunmouth pants?
Yes, I heard about gunmouth
Yeah,
pants. Yes.
all those things. I tried it.
Uh-huh.
Like when they were.
What does that have to do with crime, though?
Well, this whole gun. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when
Trying to be a comedian.
when Junit came out, actually, and we had the whole Junit gang in Trinidad,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's rap music. Like just one avenue, right? And then obviously those things are not really like that is just like maybe trying to in
One
the
of-
culture. Yeah, that's just in the
one of many
culture
things,
to maybe
yeah.
breed the hooligans on the street. But when it comes to like these crime, a lot of crimes happening in Trinidad, we realize there's people in power who get in in power. What's her name again?
It's a public thing, Mark.
Afraid to say.
Wasn't a politician
I'm
arrested
not sure
this
which
week?
chain I thought was going to.
Oh, okay,
You
okay.
can't say the name.
Why I can't say her
What
name?
is wrong with this?
See how brave they are.
I think it's Marlene McDonald.
Right.
Yeah,
I
you
just
know,
wanted you
just-
to
you
say
could read
that.
a newspaper and you could read how it's, you know, she was arrested.
Yeah,
Is
she's
that
being
our
questioned.
first time for something? And a politician again for something? In some years?
Maybe Rodney could shed some light. I don't remember.
It's the first time in living memory.
Living memory.
You've heard about a politician being arrested.
Being arrested.
Okay.
Physically put in handcuffs and arrested.
Oh, okay. And who was the lead behind that?
Put in handcuffs.
Well, they didn't say come on, go in and arrest her. Yes, they when they arrest somebody, put
Getting
them in
arrested is
handcuffs.
getting
So
arrested.
is that a, would you say, Rodney, that that's a step in the right direction for Trinidad?
In a manner, yes, but it's a very provocative, confrontational way of going about doing it.
Okay.
Regardless of, she's still an office holder. She's an MP, correct?
Yes, she is,
Right.
yeah.
There still needs to be a level of decorum when you handle these things, but it's become quite the circus,
Okay.
with the whole situation. And I'm not saying they aren't justified because they went through the DPP to get this. Everything was done according to the checklist and the law, and she was arrested and charged.
But isn't she publicly also friends with certain
Elements?
elements in society?
Well, the famous picture that came out is the gentleman from Sea Lots, Berkey,
Right.
was seen at the
That's a
installation.
legit picture, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
She was-
I know he's
So
been
the
all over the
president
place
of the
now.
country is standing there, and she walks in with Berkey
Right. I remember that.
and
Oh.
gets sworn in at an official government swearing in with a known quote-unquote community leader standing in proximity
Yeah.
to the president.
They named the song so good, though. A community leader, but anyhow. Yeah.
But Berkey became an overnight celebrity.
Well, he was well known already. That's
Yeah.
why everybody
Yeah.
got nervous about the whole thing.
I see memes all over with him now, so I
Yeah.
don't know, you know. I didn't know if that picture was a meme we were talking about.
No, that was a real. That was a real thing.
picture.
And he showed up. He was an oversized shirt.
Yep,
Yeah.
I
Almost
remember.
down to his knees with a tie. And he
Yeah.
I
looked like
remember it, yeah.
I have a little backstory on that though. Someone who knows him said he was kind of hurriedly rushing to that event, and he just asked somebody to buy anything. And little did he know that that outfit with the twist tie would have been his, like,
Be
what he would
careful,
be
that
known
might
for.
become a fashion statement.
Yeah.
he may get famous.
But when like when the memes come out of them, like people say, "Hey, Berkey, look." Yeah, they show it to him.
So that's one of the first I saw about it recently. We know about another gangster who died in the beatum. It's still lots, I mean.
Who got shot?
Yeah, got shot.
Joel.
Yeah. Did they find out who was behind all of this? I don't know.
I wasn't there. That's all I know. I wasn't there.
Wasn't there? Okay, okay.
I was not there.
It's alleged that it was police who,
Okay.
who
That was it. That's
Yeah.
alleged.
It was
We don't know if
alleged.
it's true, you know?
Yeah.
So we're just asking if it was
And then there was the incident. I think he was tied to the fisherman being thrown over.
But there's so many conflicting stories.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
says he was tied to the piracy of the fishermen. Another story said he was one trying to protect the fishermen.
Oh, I
And you
never heard that story.
And then you know what the word protection also means. You know,
Mhm.
it's, confidence schemes.
Yeah.
Taking money from people. That could mean a number of things.
Right.
Yeah.
For all we know, somebody owed him money and this was retribution.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never know with these things.
Yeah.
Unless you're on the inside and there,
Mhm.
seeing it, and it's hard to discern.
Yeah, actually, I shooting by you today, you said?
Yeah, there was a police shooting at my neighborhood. I live second. Well, I live Second Street by the
You'd rather
market.
tell people exactly where you live in.
Yeah,
but-
Oh, yeah. My home, my casa, mi casa suka.
You hear that, Berkey?
But there was
Next thing you know, your phone starts ringing.
there was a
You regret you see that now, you know, but go ahead.
no, there's a Chinese guy. There were some guys in the neighborhood wanted to play police or bandit. They want to rob the guy basically, and police happened to be in the vicinity, and it was three gentlemen, and 3 of them got shot along with some cars that was parked. They got their their windows and stuff. Bullets went through, but they apprehended the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a lot of people were happy and sad at the same time, because the people in the market for some reason they wanted them dead.
Okay, they were menaced.
They're angry when they get them alive. They want them dead.
Oh, jeez,
Oh,
okay.
so many people come and rob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that
Yeah.
probably comes from that it's a pattern, it's a continuous
Yeah,
thing.
so they
of
probably
getting
just
robbed,
fed
so
up.
they just
That's
tired.
all.
Well, a lot of Trinidadians they say it too, when they go on the post, they say, why don't you shoot them? Why don't you
Yeah,
kill them? When
yeah.
you put this on,
When you
let's
read-
kill them.
yeah.
When I read like the comment sections, I'm sure right now people have that. Maybe online you can let us know if you all have that same opinion, or if not, none,
There was a good bit of gunfire
Yeah.
this morning.
Because, I mean, things getting worse in the
Yeah.
country, right? So a lot of people just not say, I don't know if you can say where you're from. I don't know if you have a lot of crime like in your area or something.
Me, I'm from South.
Is that a lot of crime now on your side?
Not compared to the east-west border, I should say.
Yeah.
that.
Definitely not.
That's why I like living in South. The list of reasons not to live in the east-west north area keeps growing. Stay in South.
Actually,
South
I saw
is nice
some
and quiet.
statistics
True.
this week with Enterprise, where like 3 or 4 years ago, there were at least 50 murders in Enterprise alone. Figures may be off a bit, but from then to now, so far, there's been just 1 murder in Enterprise. And I think they said it was due to a community effort to a new mayor, and I think something to do with the police force as well in that area. But to go down from 50 murders in Enterprise alone to 1
Yeah.
for the year so far, I think
Yeah.
that's weird. It means that, to me, that's gives me a little hope. I don't know, how you, that.
Well, it could be either that or they just go somewhere else. Because
True.
lots of times, like when I fought against Al Qaeda and the insurgencies in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we'd hit them, they'd migrate.
Okay.
All right.
So they like to move around. So we were kind of following their trail, because they would operate in a place with impunity. And then as soon as we show up, then they figure, oh, let's go somewhere else.
Okay.
Okay.
So sometimes it's either the community effort or they just migrated somewhere else. They just keep moving around and, looking for
Actually,
greener pastures
that
in
could
which
be
to
it.
operate.
The community, I think, started, like, not necessarily, I don't want to use the word snitch, but they started to sell out people or something, so
That too.
that they're not
but
safe in the area,
Yeah.
if they're seeing things. I mean, a lot of things would change if people do that, right? In the area, they're seeing things happening right on the corner.
But I think they
So
claimed
they
that they
call
had
the
more
police.
programs for the youths and that kind of thing, to help.
Well,
them.
it's community engagement.
Okay.
Community
Yeah.
engagement. And this is where a lot of failings come through. When you don't see the real community leaders and community organizations such as churches, NGOs, community groups, if they're not actively involved,
Then
then
these gangs will-
they
they
will
take over.
flourish. Because
Yeah.
if you give them a place of rest and a place of protection,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to thrive there.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, it's true. Before we get into the details of, because you said, Rodney, you said that you proposed something in the government years ago, a plan from 3 experiences to maybe help the situation. But actually before, because it wasn't as bad as today, right? That's actually how much years ago that was?
This was 2011.
All right, the 2011, right? So you'll see it's over 8 years now, right? So before we get into it, we want to go to the comment section and hear what is going on online, right? So let's stay tuned, right? Let's go to Eva there.
All right. So let me start off by saying good night to a few people. We have Colleen Kian. Good night to you. Keisha Nash, Leona Prince. Good night to you. Aniela Sidge, Aloy Dudley, Crystal, Rahim, Indira Theodal. Good night to all of you lovely people. Let me get some comments in here. So we have Anna Lee Boyne. She says, I agree, negative music does impact the crime situation. Snoopy says, crime all starts from home, so deal with it needs to start with parents. Lisa Marie Olson says, better working conditions, more salary. Let's see. Lisa Marie Olson also added, she said, kids getting salary for going to school. Let me see. Ryan, Rosalind Ramdeen once. Leona Prince says, music is life, so you are what you listen to, and depends on who you hang around. You tend to be just like them. And actually, that leads me to my first giveaway. Leona Prince, congratulations. You are the first winner of our vouchers tonight. So you are the winner of a free diagnostic test sponsored by Mega Mac Computer Services. Guys, his number is 733-6157. Yes, Leona, all of that is for you. You could also get him at 330-8791, all right? Anything you need computer servicing wise, whether it be software, hardware installation, data recovery. He even did some work for me, guys, and he's really awesome at what he does, all right? He got back stuff that I didn't even think existed anymore. So, because he did some data recovery work for me, and the best thing about Mega Mac, guys, is he does house calls, all right? So if you ever feel like I can't get here, or it's convenience, like at the snap of your fingers, all right? So just give him a call. That number again is 733-6157 or 330-8791. Let me get back into the comments. Sammy Dread, good night to you. Leona also added that MP will forever be suspect. Also makes Trinbago corrupted from the top. Sammy Dread said, let's start with recruiters. Stop all favor in selection of candidates. The officers must be able to move up in ranks. Kerwin Narayan had a question. He said, are there any examples of cities that reduced crime and what they did? So y'all could make notes of that and be sure to answer that when we get back to the panel. Let's say goodnight to Trevor and Cruikshank. Kerwin also said most people know where drug dens are and also which police officers allegedly protected the dealers. Why is little being done? Snoopy says,
Getting into all of that, man.
Sorry?
You go ahead.
No.
Kyle again. Subi says crime can't end, but to help it, we need to start with good parenting at home and show our kids more love and teach them life, the good and the bad. So as they grow, they will understand and make their own options from there, and maybe keep more sports in the areas their lives would help too. Leona Prince needs lots of activities and groups for youths, more church influences from young. All right, so guys, continue to keep your comments coming in. All right, let me get one more in from Eniala Stage. I believe the breakdown family life, removal of godly foundation in schools, lack of computer engagement, etc., all contributes to crime. All right, so be sure to continue to comment. We still have awesome giveaways to give to all of you, and we're gonna go back to Kyle now. All right, make sure and stay tuned. And we still now in the earlier part of the show, so you'll feel free to share, okay? To share to all of your friends, and feel free to comment as well. All right, we want to hear what you all think. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. For anyone who just tuned in, we are actually talking about crime in Trinidad. All right, so begin to share and share your comments as well. All right, back to Kyle.
Hey, awesome stuff, guys. You know, I encourage you all to keep your comments and questions, Rodney. Whatever question he can answer, he will answer. Obviously, it's certain things he might be able to answer because he don't know. Right? So
I don't want to know.
So, Rodney, what was this plan you gave to the government? Or why did you see the need to actually give a plan to the government in the first place?
Well, you know, if you look at the situation here that's specific to here, the plan is so easy and simple, but not easy to implement.
Right.
But it's such a simple concept. It's so painfully obvious what can be done.
Right.
But it won't be done because of the internal culture of politics here, the internal culture of the police service. You know, all the different elements and dimensions of our country are so just compromised. Is the best word I can call it. That a plan that would revolutionize the country won't. Really, it's like a plant that doesn't have roots that can take hold.
Right.
You put it down, the roots don't take hold, the plant dies. So you've got a great idea, you've got the right seed, you've got the right, you know, thing. But again, the political culture, because you can have the best laid plans, but if you don't have the political will to empower a plan from the governmental level, it's never going to take place. I mean, I bet you can name the one time in our country where there was zero crime reported over a space of 7 days. Can you tell me?
I really can't tell you.
It was recently, actually.
It was the 5th Summit of the Americas.
Yeah.
When Obama had just gotten, and he came down, there was zero crime reported in the entire country.
Right.
Nothing, not even a car being stolen was reported. And that demonstrates if we really want things to change, it can change.
Right.
But it also says we don't want things to change. And, you know, because at the end of the day, if you have a country that has a strong economy, good source of labor and jobs that give people good, meaningful work, if you have an education system that isn't there to program a child, but to teach a child how to think, if you have a political structure that isn't corrupt or isn't complicit with these underhanded dealings, you have a stable country. Because lots of times you can talk about it from the community level, the education level, national security. You know, if you think about it, a child goes to school and success doesn't come from school. Success comes from who you know.
Right.
That's our culture of success. So it basically says it doesn't matter what effort I put into my education. If I'm not in the right circles, I lose. I'm set up for failure.
Right.
And that's what kids in oppressed communities and depressed communities and low-income communities, because years ago I went and spoke to, there was a school in Laventille. Went and talked to them. You could see it. They were just like, why are you even talking to us? We're not going to go anywhere anyway.
The hopelessness.
It was just, there's no hope. So if you don't give a child a path to success or a path to a meaningful life, I'm not saying there's a path to wealth, but just having a meaningful life to be able to provide for a family and these things, then what are you going to end up with?
Right.
You're going to end up with a country full of rudderless ships that just bounce into anything that they can just to have some sense of belonging and meaning. So you take it from that in a altruistic form, national security isn't just guns and police and military. National security starts in education. It starts in community development. It starts all these different things. But even now, like we've seen some of these news reports, community development is even a point of corruption.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of the corruption cases that are coming out come from the Ministry of Community Development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so then you ask yourself, because there's a lot of people that just say, well, what's the sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, because even environmentalism is a point of national security. Open borders. You know, everybody criticized Trump for his stance on closing the borders, but now that we're flooded here with Venezuelans,
All of a sudden, everybody.
all of a sudden,
wants-
nobody wants open borders.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
They even calling for a wall.
But it's a real legitimate thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, in the States, we have diseases that have been eradicated for over 100 years coming back into the country because
Because of
immigrants are
immigrants.
flowing across the borders,
Yeah.
and they're not being vetted. They're not
Yeah.
being medically checked. They're
Right.
not being assessed.
Yeah.
Right.
We have bubonic plague now in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The Black Plague, you know, you heard about
Yes,
the Middle
yeah.
Ages and the
Yeah.
Dark Ages. The
Yeah.
Black Death that killed 5 million people across Europe, that's arrived in Los Angeles.
Right.
So now we have to look at, if in the Trinidad context, what are we not doing? I would say if there's a list of 100 things we can do, probably 2 or 3 of those items are being done right now actively in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have now a little bit of tension between the commissioner's office and the government.
Right.
You know, because he's now working with somebody in the DPP that handing out warrants and arresting people
The way it should be.
the way it should be. But I don't envy. Like I said, I was with Hema the other day on CNC3, and I said I don't envy his job. It doesn't. It's right now. I can't judge and say. I have my opinion about him and his qualifications, but at the end of the day, he's in the hot seat, and I don't envy him at all because he doesn't have the full moral backing of the government to empower him for his job. So he's kind of operating a man apart.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't envy any. It doesn't even matter whether he's qualified now. He's got that job. He doesn't have the tools, not necessarily the guns or the training, but he just doesn't have the legitimate tools of enforcing the law and protecting the country.
Would you say he's doing the best that he could with what he has?
I would say that.
Yeah.
He's a little provocative,
Yeah.
you know, because you know he's a little provocative how he communicates.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if you're not in his shoes and sitting in his seat,
Yeah.
his response may be coming from the pressures and stress
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
the futility of
Yeah.
his
He's
job.
a one-man army trying
You
to do
could say the
it.
same thing about Trump. His responses maybe a little.
But at the end of the day, see, the thing is, if we get caught up with somebody's rhetoric, and we're not seeing underneath the rhetoric what their policies, their actions, and their operations are doing,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's easy. We've become a world that's offended. If I cough in the wrong direction, somebody gets offended.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Right?
want to sue you.
But again, I'm being judged for the direction I coughed in, not for the person and the character that I maintain.
Just because you're
Yeah.
cough.
Yeah.
You know, just simply because I coughed in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You know, these days, this is how ridiculous our world is. People are getting offended that, you know, what do they call it, man-spreading now? Where if you
Yes.
sit with your legs
Yes.
open, that's offensive
Yes.
to feminists
Yeah.
and all this stuff. Now, you take that attitude and
a bit
approach
offensive,
to, and your approach and
All right,
perception of
feminists.
people like
Good.
Gary Griffith and whoever, no wonder, you know,
Yeah.
they treat him the way he does.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, the man trying, and I've seen everything you're doing right, but it's clear that, you know, something needs to happen in the country.
and what's funny, his performance, in the long run, his performance, he may get, if you had to rate him out of 10, his performance, let's say it's a 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually 3 better than what everybody else's performance was.
Right. Yeah.
So it looks really good
Yeah.
I agree,
and relative to everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, if a guy running 1 mile an hour, of course he's going to make more progress than a guy standing still.
Yeah.
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 You know, so you can't fault the guy for trying what he's trying to do what he's doing.
So the plan you had wanted to implement this some years ago. You're telling me, I don't know if this was the same Canadians who came.
Well, that was a separate situation, but we
Right.
were talking to elements of national security
Right.
and the government about this plan,
Right.
and it was.
Could you share some details of what the plan was?
Well, it was the multi-tiered thing we talked about, addressing, because a country has 3 legs to their table: safety, security, and stability.
Right.
Now, all those things, when you say security, you may not just talk about national security. You're talking about job security, financial security,
Mhm.
family security, all these different things.
Right.
So if you have all those 3 elements that are stable, and continuous in your life, it's very rare that a country itself becomes destabilized.
Right.
So it wasn't just, again, you're hitting it from the community level, the education level, the job market. If we have a country that's unsafe, do you think multinational corporations are going to want to move their business here?
No, yeah.
No.
No.
Dubai, at one time, everybody knows about Dubai.
Yeah.
I've been to Dubai. I've done protection details in Dubai. The place is stunning.
Yeah.
30 years ago, it was one road and a couple of shacks
Wow.
in the middle of the desert. Now they've created an environment where almost every dollar goes back into the country because they know they're running out of oil. So what they've created is a multinational market where businesses and multinational corporations can put their business there.
Yeah.
Banking, finance, industry, all these different things, tourism. People want to be involved
Yeah,
with
people
Dubai
wanna go
because
Dubai
there's
now, but-
safety,
yeah.
security, and stability.
Yeah.
Put it this way, our national budget was on par with Dubai, and look where Dubai's ended up.
Wow.
So you're talking about a squandering of resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dubai had oil as well,
Yeah.
but they've switched their economy over to tourism and finance.
Yeah.
They're making trillions of dollars,
Yeah.
billions of dollars every year. But we sit here on a bed of oil and natural gas, and we're no better off as a nation. I saw a study once. This country, if we invested and properly used our resources here, we could easily support 5 million people in this country.
Wow.
That is actually doable.
Right.
Right.
If you do infrastructure, work,
Yeah, but Trinidad
industry,
rich. Yeah, Trinidad have a lot of, you know.
you could easily support 5 million people.
Yeah.
But what do? We spend money on all the wrong things in all the wrong ways, and we squander our resources. So if you wanted to put
Well, you know them contracts, somebody had to get money.
somebody had to eat the food, as
Yeah,
they say.
somebody.
But here's the thing, what they don't realize is what they're scrambling over is the crumbs falling off the buffet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of focusing on creating the buffet, we're focused on the crumbs.
Right.
And the crumbs just have us going, if we didn't have oil, where would we be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, at one time we were the breadbasket of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Agriculture got undermined and shut down during the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing keeping us not becoming Zimbabwe or Venezuela is the oil and the natural gas.
Yeah. That's true.
That's the only thing keeping us from becoming like those two countries.
Well, we all know when it comes to politics, as you know, visibly we can see how corrupt it is. You know that
Yeah.
you could see that UNC built a hospital. PNM come in power, they want nothing to even continue further, and it's just like a sense of every time a party come in,
The children's hospital.
they're just trying to fight each other. They're just trying to
And then you add on top of that
Yeah.
where they put the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm like, who does that?
Yeah.
Who puts a hospital in the middle of a cane field?
Yeah,
I
it's-
do
yeah.
have no.
Well,
yeah.
the UNC had that one. That was built by the Chinese. But then you think about the stadium, the Brian Lara Stadium,
Right.
Yeah.
another cane field, and you put a stadium in the middle of a cane field
Yeah.
that sat there for 5 years and was rotting.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
So you see.
you go back to UNC when they had the under-17 World Cup. They built all these stadiums. You put them in all the wrong places because the properties you used were friends of the party.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
put the stadiums where they needed to be. You put
Right.
them where you wanted them to be
Yeah.
because you're friends.
And it just is corruption after the next. And what I mean is, the reason why I bring up that is just see how that is actually something visible.
Yeah.
What I mean is, we could all sit down and see what them in power and they didn't do it. So imagine the things that is unseen to us, that the kind of corruption that have going on, which we can't really, we may be able to know, like this one cutting this one cutting that, but we could see visibly these things happening in the
Yeah.
nation, and we just, we just as a nation, that's maybe we're just accepting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just,
Well, again, when you look at education, you have an
Yeah.
education system that creates compliance. It doesn't create creativity. It doesn't create critical thinking.
Yeah.
It doesn't create independent thought. It doesn't do anything. It
Yeah.
Basically, our education system here is about shut up, learn, memorize, spit it back
Pass
out.
the test. Pass the test.
All you're
pass
there
the
to do is
test.
pass the test.
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't come at me and ask me.
I guess that's why I failed the test. Because I felt I had to pass it.
Pass the test. That's basically it. Study hard and pass the test.
So now that the plan not implemented, I say maybe I had, right? I guess, then, like we didn't go into like full details. But what do you think is the next step moving forward? What do you think is maybe one of the biggest steps they need to change? What do you say right now is, all right, if this change is a good step
The
moving
political
forward?
culture.
The political culture.
The political values and culture that saturates everything.
Right.
Because politics
That-
here, see, at least in
That
America
hard,
and
isn't it?
Europe, when you are a political platform, you have a platform you stand on.
Yeah.
If you ask a P&M supporter, what platform do they stand on? They can't tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
In the States, you know, you have liberals, Democrats, you have conservatives. In UK, you have Tories, you have Labor. Everybody has a platform and a value system that they operate under. We don't even have that here in
Our
our
value
political party.
system is race.
And I want to say we have a value system as race.
Race.
Because
But
when
here-
election come around, that is really what most people.
But you
is
know who
really raised
empowers
there.
that? It's the people.
And
Yeah.
I want to say there's really and truly, as much as the government, we say all kind of things about the government,
Yeah.
it's really we who empower them.
Now here's the greatest travesty is that the church is on board with that as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, it's
yes.
true.
That is sad.
Come
Yeah.
election time, the church divides right down the middle
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
between black churches and Indian churches.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
telling them that before the show that I was
Yeah.
shocked to see someone on my Facebook timeline who I know is a Christian minister publicly saying really horrible things about the Prime Minister and
Current
the,
Prime
and,
Minister,
and the
yeah.
current Prime Minister and the party, and I mean the person is, you know, of not that race, you know, yeah. But
I remember when Kamala got voted in, a whole bunch of pastors went up in the east, I think it was,
Yeah.
and touching toes, basically in essence touching toes.
Yeah.
You know, bending down in obeisance and
yeah.
Okay.
you know. But the thing is, the church. What is the purpose of the church throughout the Old Testament and the New Testament?
Right.
We're supposed to be that plumb line, that
Yeah.
measuring stick,
Yeah.
Right.
that thermometer that says, stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
This is not God's will.
Mhm.
But we're part of the problem.
Yeah.
The church on the whole, most part, has subscribed to the
Well, I guess I guess I go back to the same thing of race, that even
Yeah.
beyond
Within the church,
yeah,
there's
see it,
division.
you know, there's within it. I
Because
guess
there is
people
an
hold on
innate-
to
yeah.
people hold on to their natural identity, their
Well,
identity on the earth more than the spiritual one.
modern Christianity, there's an innate competitiveness between churches.
Yeah.
And then you subdivide that into the cultural and racial lines, and then throw politics into that, and you wonder why the country doesn't change.
Right.
If I had to look at this in a spiritual sense, I said the country is where it is because of the body of Christ, because of the failings of the body of Christ.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm all for prayer and seeking God, but if we are not fully physically active in holding politics and politicians and governments and leaders accountable,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of teaming up with them.
instead of signing on with them,
Right.
instead of letting them come into your pulpit
Yes.
and politicize your pulpit,
Yeah.
Right.
and then you wonder why national security and crime is such an issue.
Mm-hmm. So other than that, say probably say the government with something else you think.
Well, the coming back to the point about the church,
Yeah.
the church is, if the church doesn't come, what does it say about a house divided?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannot stand, right?
Cannot stand.
Yeah.
So we have a divided church. Region. You think about all the different categories of division: north versus south, east versus west, central versus whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the New Testament Church of God versus Pentecostals, and
Bible.
Pentecostals versus the Independents.
Evangelical.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why, like the other day with the LGBT case in the courts,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a plan, and then an offshoot went on, did their own thing, and jeopardized the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we don't have a cohesive. I guarantee,
Voice.
the day the church gets together and decides to become one voice, the whole country will change.
Yeah,
Politicians
I agree
won't
with
be
that.
able to do
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, 40% of the country are evangelicals and Catholics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
swath of the voting of the electorate. Let's talk just elections.
Mhm.
The electorate, 40% of the country is your electorate.
Yeah.
It's Christian or evangelical or Catholic.
Yeah.
You know, so then you have to ask yourself, do we really not ascribe to the premise that God is who He says He is in our lives?
Right.
We've defaulted to the same, you know, narrative that governs politics and crime and governance and law enforcement, everything in this country.
Yeah. The reason why I asking that question, I'm going back to it because I know people just want to hear running the beta, man. I know people just want to hear that now.
What?
When people say, well, where's the solution? Sometimes people
Well,
just want to hear it's going to kill them.
that's totally gratuitous.
Yeah,
you can,
some
call,
people
you
is
can
just say-
categorize that, run in and shoot up Ethan.
Right.
That's-
what people
that's
is
totally
saying, maybe
gratuitous.
say, yeah, go on, go and shoot up Lavender, go and do this.
You
go
know,
and
we
do
have
that.
we have kind of a sick joke, you know,
Mhm.
in the military. They say, well, what'd you feel when you shot at it? Recoil.
Right.
We.
Yeah.
That's back when I was doing that. That's was literally how we maintain and protect our mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Is what did you feel? Recoil.
Right.
You didn't feel anything else? No. Recoil. So, but that's a gratuitous. If we take that attitude here, then you're just going to end up with a shooting match between gang versus gang, police versus gang, police versus police.
Right.
You end up with Dana Cedar Howe murders. You end up with all kinds of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, end up with, you know, like I said to Hama the other day, there's a picture going around the internet of this little girl who got murdered out in the west somewhere, and she's in a picture with a fully automatic belt-fed machine gun in the picture behind her.
Okay.
You know.
Was this a girl in Carenage? Or?
I think so. They're kind of a red-skinned, light-skinned girl.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, where's the church in all this?
Right.
We're inside having our, prayer meetings.
Yeah. So that.
Remember, when the walls of Jericho came down, it wasn't us sitting in our tents praying somewhere.
True.
They had to walk
They were
the walls.
marching around. Yeah.
So we're gonna go back in the segment with that, right? But we gotta go to the comment section and like, hear what is going on there, like, you know. If you are.
So, let me see what we have here. We have here in the Ryan says most people know where. No, I got this one in already. He spoke about the drug dens. Let's see. Let me say goodnight to Lisa Marie Olson. In case I didn't get you earlier, I want to make sure I say goodnight to you. And Yala Stage says we all have a part to play. Let's do our part. Let me see. Trevor and Cruikshank, good night to you. Leona Princess, another thing is, there's people with jobs, but they have to wait 3 to 4 months for their salary, which causes depression and victims to do anything. Actually, I saw a few comments where people spoke about jobs and the employment system, I guess, in Trinidad. So clearly that's
actually not a bad thing.
a major
Anybody go and
issue
get a
in
job.
Trinidad.
It's not like on a reason why people do
Right,
crime.
he says our budget was once the same as Dubai. Wow, madness. Jared Archibald. I think most people are in amazement of his comments that they're not asking questions, guys. So I encourage you all, if you all have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to ask, all right? Leona Princess, I agree. We don't know what to do with the resources to better the economy. Leona Princess, TNT is extremely rich. Here, when Narayan says, so corruption is one of the greatest evils we are facing. True. Let me see. Kerwin also added America has media and institutions that hold government accountability. He says we need moral, we need competent, inspirational leaders. Leona again commented and she said part of politics in TNT is based on racism, which makes the country corrupted. Needs a strong influencer to take this down. Natasha Lucas, good night to you. She says, wow, one body very divided, which is so true. So let me see. My next giveaway is going to go. Oh, we just had another comment here from Michael GP. We are suffering from understanding and accepting each other's culture. My next giveaway will go to Lisa Marie Olson. Congratulations. And again, I saw like a little top fan thing on you. So if everyone want to say a special good night to you. And you are the winner of the Organic Heaven $75 gift voucher. All right. So guys, that's Organic Heaven. You can visit them. You can even check them out online at Organic Heaven Foods. You can visit them at number 45 Saddle Road, Marval. Their number is 622-1768. And guys, that's Organic Heaven. They make healthy eating affordable, all right? So anything you need, we have gluten-free. They have coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil, honey, all that good stuff, even fresh baked goods. You can get it at Organic Heaven, all right? So be sure to visit them. Their number again is 622-1768. And you can visit them at 45 Saddle Road, Marval. That's Organic Heaven Foods, all right? We're going to go back to Kyle. Remember, you'll feel free to comment. We still have a flash drive, a 32 gig flash drive here, sponsored by Megamark again, to be won again later on in the show, right? So just feel free to comment, ask any questions, and you could be the winner of that flash drive, all right? So Kyle, take it away.
Hey, awesome stuff. You know, we're talking about the crime in the country. All, you know, every day I wake up hearing some kind of murder.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it was like, what, 2 weeks ago? the shooting in KFC, that day it had like about a lot of people died that day. And it's
Yeah,
like over
yeah.
7 people, I think.
I think in a weekend there were like 9 murders or something a couple weekends ago.
So we
Yeah.
know things getting worse, and we hear with Rodney, who explaining to us that there's not just yes, there's crime on the ground, right? And but sadly enough, right? We watch these big mafia movies, and we don't realize that we living in a system where the same way you watch these mafia movies, that these people who in control of who this police and this government and official working with these people, you realize we in the actually same state. We just think it's just this one here in the Beatum doing this one. That just the ground runners.
Yeah.
There's people who just there's bigger things going on where corrupted, where you realize for years now things don't really change in the country, and you really see it have actually things get worse.
Yeah.
You would say in the country.
Yeah.
That especially not just in like crime, right? We just as a whole society, it look like we getting worse and worse, and we know that there's I know we started talking about the church and a spiritual element, but we know also in the country there are a lot of other spiritual influences that not just linked to crime, that just dictate a lot of different things in the country. A matter of fact, one of the times there's have a lot of evil in the country, it's like around Carnival. There's a lot of rapes, a lot of different things happening in the country, and it seems that we as a nation, it seems like we just okay with certain forms of evil. As much as, like, I'll give an example, right? We seem like we okay with Carnival and all that is bring, but remember once upon a time, if it is they say, well, let me shut down Carnival because there's so much crime going on, do you know the country would not accept that? They actually wouldn't. They would that's like a foreign thought to them. They would never say a matter what. So at some point of time, as humans, we had to reflect and see like what it is we really want in the nation. Is it that we actually want things to change? And my question, Nika, where do you think wanting to change? It's if it's like talking to somebody, and maybe you had one moment to actually talk to somebody who in power somewhere, right? With some maybe you would tell them to bring that
Somebody
change.
in power.
Yeah, who can maybe make a difference. Because really and truly in the nation, we go from PNM UNC, PNM UNC, PNM UNC. And even if there's somebody else who rise up with any party you say not corrupt, they're the other people within the party corrupt. And he might just have to go with the flow of what everybody else doing. And he can't just go and just dictate everybody's pace. So really and truly, we need somebody in the country to rise up who would inspire maybe even a whole new system. I don't know who would it be, a whole different party who have values, have morals. But if there is that a person like that, right?
What I would tell them?
Yeah,
I'll say, give me a try. Let's no, I'm kidding. No, I think people underestimate the power of God. I think, Rodney, you mentioned, and I don't mean just being in a church praying. You said something. You said, do we really believe who God is, right, as a church? And I think the church, who are supposed to be believers, we are supposed to be believers. There are not many believers in the church, and that's sad.
Yeah.
People say it's just a cliche thing now to say I'm a believer. But if we were really believe who God is and the power and authority that we have in Him, and not only that, the wisdom we could get from God and the sort of insight that we could get from God, I would probably tell that politician to humble yourself, as the Bible says, humble yourself a little bit, and maybe see if you could, I guess, take in the wisdom of God, because they seem to have been getting their wisdom from I don't know where, right? Because it's just corruption. Humble yourself a little bit under God's law, because God has a method, He has a way, He has a plan that He implemented from the beginning. We messed that up, right? But if we go through the Bible, we would see that it starts with the family.
Yeah.
God, Adam and Eve, that was the plan in the beginning. Be fruitful, multiply, love God, serve God, and but that got messed up. And from that time to now, families have been messed up. And I think Satan is doing a very good job of destroying families, of taking the fathers away from their children, having children grow up with insecurities, that kind of thing. So I think I would tell that government minister to focus their efforts, at least part of their efforts, on the homes and the families, and trying to reestablish some sort of order in that respect.
Right.
Raising the standards, the moral standards of people in the community, and getting them to see the value of a proper home with a mother and a father, bringing up their children in the things of God, going back to the basic 10 commandments. If you don't want to go, okay, 10 commandments. So if we would just follow God's way, I think it will make a big difference.
So
but
big things had to be open to God.
family, yeah, but family values, those kind of things, that's not, I mean, I don't want to say, that's become now, whatever.
And I guess God family standards, because we realize now all over the world they're trying to change what is a family.
A family.
You know
What is
I
a
mean?
basic family?
Yeah, so
in fact, even in the church, people don't value family anymore.
Yeah.
Because you have people, the Bible says a simple thing like don't have sex outside of marriage. That's scorned in the world, of course. I don't expect anybody in the world to understand that or
Right.
to even adhere to that, right? But even in the church, that is being scorned. And a simple law like don't have sex outside of marriage prevents single families, prevents children growing up without a father, mothers
Right.
having to raise, or the fathers having to raise their children alone. But those little things people just ignore and they pay no attention to.
I sit down here and I'm saying, Lord, send me. Yes. What I mean by that is, right, is, I just felt, just as I hear you talking, that, you'd reading, you'd seen the Bible. Like, I mean, you would see Nebuchadnezzar and all these people and them, right? They were open to actually even hearing what God had to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would say a prophet would go, somebody would go, Daniel, somebody would
they
be
would
there.
wanna hear a word
and they
from
would
God.
actually want to hear. But
Yeah.
not even want to hear. God is trying to talk to them.
Yeah.
You realize, because he started to get dreams. He started, and God, and nobody could interpret the dreams. But here comes Joseph now, who could interpret dreams to Pharaoh.
Yeah.
My point is this: in the nation, there must be somebody who God trying to talk to.
Yeah.
You catch where I'm coming from? God trying to reach out to somebody and who in power. I'm not talking about somebody who just sitting on home in the house. I'm talking about somebody who in power, who trying to, because they have decisions to make. They have, because God, many times people think now God doesn't care. He actually does. And he wants actually a betterment for the nation. But they realize there's someone who is there to interpret a dream, who's willing as a believer to step out of there and actually be led even by God's Spirit in that area.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect like all the politicians to be believers.
Yeah.
But if they be open for maybe something that's better.
Yeah.
A better life, a better system. Because when it comes to like something simple, Solomon with all God came and asked him, right? He said, if you ask me for anything, I'll do it for you. Solomon realized that the only thing he could have run God's nation with was wisdom.
Yeah.
And anybody who any kind of politician who going up for power, like even you say now right now, and you talking, you can't say what you want to say. You get where I'm coming from, right? Yeah? They so realize that even imagine somebody in power for the nation, they need some kind of wisdom to operate in a nation, because especially now, like they say, you call him Gigi. Yeah, GG means something totally different to us, right? That is, good game or good. That's something our gamers will like, something totally different, right? But yeah. Guy Griffin, as good as he doing, like I said, some things he doing, there's a whole community who hate him.
Yeah.
So you can imagine for that politician to rise up, who going to actually try to stop crime and different things. In the face of it, a lot of people going to hate him,
Yeah.
Like how Trump came in power and he started to do a lot of things for America. He pushed back homosexuality. He did a lot of different things. But a lot of people hated him. But they didn't see what he was trying to do. Yeah, they didn't. People still even see the things he's trying to do and help. I'm not saying all of his ways right.
Yeah.
But like you see with the border, a simple thing that people do, actually, they don't even want to hear what you had to say. But like you see how practical it is.
I have friends who work in the Border Patrol, guys
Yeah.
I was in the Marines with who are in Border Patrol right now, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what you don't see on the news, now somebody said the media holds government accountable. I said, well, what happens if the media is the propaganda tool of a certain political leaning?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is right now.
Which is
Yeah.
Because what they don't
Fox
tell
and
you in the
CNN
media
totally different.
is that the people who want open borders are actually sending people into Central and South America and setting up, not just, in a manner of speaking, these booths and selling people this idea, hey, all you got to do is cross the border, you get free welfare, free
Wow.
education, free health care. What do you think is going to do to that border?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you think about in the context of Trinidad, like for the example, the registration of Venezuelans, that was botched.
Right.
You know how many nefarious elements came into this country
Yeah.
in that flood? Everybody says the poor refugees, but you don't understand. The wolves hide amongst the
Well,
sheep.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
If one wolf gets in amongst 100 sheep, and you don't vet those 100 sheep, what do you think is going to happen? The wolf is going to come in and tear your house up.
Right.
So now you're in a situation where the church isn't doing their job of holding the government accountable. The electorate isn't doing their job by voting in people who should be there, everybody's bought into it. I call it, my favorite term is pathology.
Right.
The church has a pathology they operate on. Politics here has a pathology. And everybody's operating under this pathology and programming. But especially the church, it's like, if we truly, because I have this thing where I say, there's a difference between believing and being in a point of conviction.
Right.
Where your conviction defies your fear of death. It defies your fear of ruin. It defies your fear of loss of reputation. Conviction is what Moses did when he walked into Pharaoh's throne room.
Right.
Conviction is what, what was his name? When he fought the angel at the river. Not one of
Jacob.
Jacob, was it Jacob?
I don't know.
I won't let go of you until you bless me.
Jacob.
Conviction says, it doesn't matter, come wrath or ruin, but I will stand for what I believe and the conviction of what I believe. Because a lot of people in church don't operate based on a specific conviction. They operate on what comes out of the pulpit. They operate on their belief of a thing.
Right.
And when push comes to shove,
as if they really believe what they're saying.
When they're P&M, when you have the P&M and the UNC and they're doing all these things that they're doing, but their supporters who are in the church don't say, enough, I've had enough.
Right.
God says,
the
Word says, if you don't stop doing this, we're not going to support you anymore. Imagine if everybody in church walked away from the political parties right now. What impact would that be? Would that have? Imagine if we actually stood our ground instead of subscribing to the narrative and the pathology of the whole thing.
I have an idea. I'll share it with you offline. That I want to do. Then maybe hopefully with the churches. Maybe I'll share.
But again, it's like we come back to the walls of Jericho. Everybody wants to go sit in camp and pray, but nobody wants to walk the wall. Because the wall is dirty, it's hot, it's long. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty anymore. My previous job was about getting dirty, right? But in terms of the church, we want to be in the world, but not of the world. We like to throw that around. But at the same time, we still live in this world. We may not be of them, but we still live here. And we still exist under the systems that we allow.
Well, the Lord tell us clear that those who are overpowered, we respect them, we have to pray for them. You know what I mean? The Lord is clear that they have a reign. You know what I mean? They can't just ignore that. So it means that they have an influence still even over our life. Because they make choices and they can do what they want, and hence the reason. So the Lord actually tells us we need to pray for them. If it is there, certain people, He rise up in nations to help them. Because obviously, the people in power now and just somebody just walk up the street, they might want to hear what you had to say.
Well, the last time we had that happen was Patrick Manning, and he had a spiritual advisor called Pena. And look what that how that ended. So even for me, I would have a hard time with spiritual advisors. If the revelation and the redemption that God has for somebody doesn't come directly to them, and they don't experience it for themselves as a political leader or someone in governance, then I'd be very careful. Because when it comes to elections, we take sides. What do you think is going to happen when our guy gets in power? We're there to saddle up to them and be nice and go along with whatever. We'll pray for you, brother. But at the end of the day, again, there's no accountability. There's no check and balance. So if the law is compromised, the church is compromised, what's left? Because the church represents morality, represents values, it represents the Word of God, the power of creation and redemption. So if the law has been compromised, as it is many times in this country, and the church is no longer effective, who's to hold the governments accountable? Pray for them, yes. But still, somebody has to say, here's the mirror.
Somebody had it,
Look in the mirror and see.
So we're looking to wrap up. Any closing statements before we head off, Monica? I want to ask, I know a couple of people asked a couple of questions to Rodney. I think somebody asked one earlier. Can't remember the question, but we'll go to it just now and if any closing.
I just want to say, as Rodney rightfully said, that, as the church, because we represent the church, as a church, we can't sit in our homes and our churches and say, I'm going to pray. We need to pray, yes.
Yeah, obviously.
But there's so much more that we could do.
But the strange thing is, so don't mean to cut you, right? From my experience, yes, we need to pray. But from my experience, when I pray, I want to hear God tell me what to do.
What to do.
You understand where I'm from
yeah,
now? So
yeah.
even when you're praying,
So the prayer is supposed to lead to something.
So there's different
yes.
obviously prayer
Yeah,
praying about
yeah.
something and warfare,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Action
then
must
prayer,
follow it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
God many times is
Yeah.
because who you're talking to.
Yeah, not only that.
Who you're praying, you know
You're
what I
praying
mean?
for a solution. How do
Yeah.
you think the solution is going to come through you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? God, if you're the one that God
Well,
is going to
it's like the disciples when they were fishing,
Mm-hmm.
and they fished all night. They couldn't catch anything. Jesus said, "No, throw it over on the other side."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you
And-
talk to God, you just have a result.
Yeah.
But there has to be an action, a follow through with it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's where a lot of times churches fails. That there's no follow through.
Follow through.
Yeah.
We want to build a church and have a church, but we don't even can't even impact our own communities.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to have a church, but nobody wants to start where they are. You know, that like in war, when we jump in and we move into an area, we set up a base of operations, and then we expand our influence immediately.
Yeah.
Because that creates stability, security. It creates
That
a
was
buffer
Jesus'
between
idea.
us.
He said start in Jerusalem and then go through the whole world.
Yeah.
And same thing with the church. When you plant a church, you should be immediately impacting your immediate community.
Community.
Yeah.
Now, if we have 10,000 registered churches in this country, then what's the problem?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be results.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, you know, so.
I also think there's a lot of people living in fear.
Mhm.
A
True.
lot of-
I
a lot of
believe.
people
Yes.
frightened.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think also we kind of have a culture where people like to lay back and say, well, we know we have a, like, depend on somebody to do things. We don't really
Yeah.
have a proactive
I stay out
kind
to
of
that.
culture.
Yeah. You
Well,
are-
in America, if this is a raise the price or something, then the whole people riot. They
Look what's going on in
protesting.
France right now.
Yeah.
Yellow
The
vest.
government started taxing the life out of the middle class and the poor people
Mm-hmm.
with these carbon taxes and fuel taxes and all this stuff. Going on, I think it's 36 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Every weekend, they're out there in their yellow
The yellow
vests
vest.
Yeah.
protesting what the government is doing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're getting beat for it. The government forces are coming in there and brutalizing
I
them.
see it on BBC News, the yellow
Yeah.
vest.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, the yellow vests, and they're getting brutalized.
Yeah.
You know, because people
Every
have the
budget
conviction.
pass, we don't really. Yeah, there is. It's we
Yeah.
complain and then go back and buy the same KFC.
So we have all these forums talk about the budget and this and that and the other, but at the end of the day, what does it lead up to? Zero.
Yeah. So, you know, I guess as a church, we have a lot of, you know, but what's great is that God is in control. And what I mean is, He would speak. And many times, what's sad is as much as the church is at fault in a lot of areas, sadly, we would have to give an account.
True.
You know, so as
Yeah.
bad as, you know, so it's strange enough, as bad as things are,
Yeah.
it is God trying to influence us in some kind of way, right? And even being here and even these shows and stuff like that, getting us out there, right? We hope people hearing who, because reality is I think is a valuable point that the churches could be a little divided in certain areas. I understand. All right, there's what university is like a diversity and unity. What it means is that everybody could have maybe different beliefs, which in, like I said, the Pentecostal have their certain beliefs that is just, what I mean is that they have certain doctrinal things that's a little different, because you see that even in the Bible, right? Corinthians believe they're covering their hair. They have different forms of different things where they do within their own community that might be different. But when it comes to core elements of who Christ is and who of His beliefs, I can't understand why we get that wrong though. You understand? I can't understand why as a church we don't realize
It's human nature.
yeah, as fornication, different things, you know, that simple things like that, where we say that there's certain stands, like I say before in churches, now you actually hardly hear on our pulpit, don't watch pornography, don't do certain things like this, don't do that because it's a sin. You know, you realize that we have certain values, like I say, a little off. And that's really now where you see now in the church will know, where sometimes we need to have some kind of unity in some kind of way to have an impact, because reality is, like I say, we hold 40% of the votes.
Yeah.
So it means that we have our opinion, we have a strong voice in the nation, and we can actually make a stand. And it has simple things we could do, right? And hence the reason I say
Well,
we
like
talk
I always say, it's countries this size
Mhm.
are a reflection of the influence of the church.
Yeah.
So if the church has no influence, then you look at the state of the country, you can
Yeah.
definitely see how effective the church is. Because I don't come in and judge you as a pastor or minister. I look at the country. Does the church have influence in that country, determine morality, values, direction to the future? If they don't, then it says, then that is the indictment against the church.
All right.
I'm not going to sit here and indict the church. I just
Yeah.
look at the record.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
because if you present facts and data and all that stuff, you can definitely see where.
Yeah,
You know.
where we get influence from. Yeah. So, you know, I know if you want to go to the comment section, Eva, let me hear what's going on
All
before we wrap up.
So we have Therese Marcel says the biggest criminals in Trinidad is the government. Let me see. Ruel Josias, very informative, I agree. The church is not doing what we have been called to do. We need to come out of the four walls. Let's see. Michael says our country is here because of politicians. Country is here because of politicians and the police. Trevon Cruikshank, he said lack of jobs is not really a problem in this country. There are lots of job opportunities, but to put it like this, some of the younger people in the communities think to themselves, why go out on work and make 4,000 a month when I can make that in 2 hours on the block? So most youth turn to crime without proper morals and values to lead them in life. Rural Josiah says our media has become backyard talk and very encouraging of degrading standards. They make a joke out of serious issues. Celeste Ferreira had a question. She says, how come Tobago barely has crime and Trinidad has so much? Can you shed any light on that, Rodney?
Tobago has something other than crime. You know, because you hear, and it's not conjecture or anything, but you hear a lot about sexual assaults, rapes, incest.
Yeah.
There's things every society has that goes on. It may not necessarily be violent crime or criminal activity, but when you look at communities, what's the underlying dark underbelly of communities? Now, I'm not saying Tobago is a terrible place, but you hear about it all the time coming out of Tobago, that these things go on in a regular basis.
Just this weekend, a pastor told us that incest is
it's
rampant.
a huge thing over there. In Trinidad, and not necessarily saying pedophilia, but, you know, get rid of crime. I'm talking about just on a sexual basis. You know, like one day I'm walking into an AVM and there's a 60-something-year-old man hitting on an 18-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about us and our values overall in general as a country?
That could be granddaughter.
And that's just the words that were coming out of his mouth. There wasn't nothing granddaughterish about
well,
that.
I say no.
Maybe his sight.
He was like, I'll
He
take
kinda
care of
old,
you,
yeah,
I'll
he
mind
kinda
you,
old.
I'll do this for you, I'll do this.
Wow.
Come get with standing at the ABM, he's talking to a young lady like this. So you think about not just crime in general, but the overall morality.
Of the
I mean,
yeah,
like you said earlier, they're redefining families,
Yeah.
they're redefining this, redefining that.
Yeah.
You know, the world is about redefining changing the definitions to suit a narrative, to suit their own values.
Is it that Tobago don't have the as much as these type of crimes like incest and but is it that they don't have as much as these type of crimes because they don't have the kind of contracts?
No. Tobago is a different country by itself.
I don't know what I'm saying now. So I mean, they don't have certain type of
Tobagonians are very distinct in their who they are. It's a culture.
The kind of money it have pumping in Trinidad are a little different to Tobagoans.
I can't say.
I don't know what Enrique can say.
But even years ago, you heard stories about tourists being attacked in Tobago.
Yeah.
People who have money, foreign exchange dollars to invest in Tobago, being robbed and beaten and attacked. I'm like, you would never hear about that in Barbados.
Yeah.
Never. You know why? Because Barbados has one source of income. That's tourism.
Yes.
They want to look at their tourists are untouchable. Here, we attack our tourists. We kill our tourists. You know, like that Japanese girl that came down years ago.
Was that ever solved? Was that murder ever solved?
Probably not.
Wow.
Probably not.
Do you know? I'm joking.
No.
But somebody from who went Barbados was telling me that everybody values the tourists in Barbados.
Because if you touch one tourist, that goes throughout the entire world. Barbados just killed somebody. Barbados.
Yep.
Here, like I remember one carnival, there was gangs of young people running through carnival bands and attacking foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Not locals, foreigners. I'm like, have you lost your mind? Have you lost any sense of yourself?
Yeah, they did.
You're already committing a crime, but then you're committing a crime against people who are bringing in foreign exchange and spending money in your country. And that's endemic of our internal culture, our local culture.
Yeah.
These kids are running around, and the word that's being used lately is this feral kind of outlook to life, feral human beings.
Yeah.
If you're just running around in survival mode, attacking and seizing anything you want, that's a type of being feral.
Yeah. Anything I say, Eva? I know that's a long answer.
Yes, we have some more comments that I want to get in. Kieran Narayan says we have to allow the kingdom of heaven to affect all major institutions, marriage, education, media, politics, etc. Leona Prince actually responded to the question that Celeste asked, and she said population is smaller and they do have, just not as highlighted as Trinidad. Trevon Cruikshank said, I myself never thought I would make it past 18. When I reached 20, I was glad. Then as I got older, I saw life more and understand what it is about after getting involved in church. Sometimes it seems that a life of crime is the only option because of borderlines, such as you live in John John, you can't go on St. Paul Street or other parts of the country. So there's a risk in going out and working because your address might come out and someone from that job would set you up to get killed. Wow. That's heights of craziness. Rebecca, good night to you. Trevon Cruikshank, he said, I came and lost 2 of my brothers to gang war. If I didn't have a rooted foundation in Christ, I honestly don't know where I would have been today. Obedience to the Holy Spirit is really the key to this life. Lisa Beckles, this is my last comment for tonight, guys. Let's see what Lisa is saying. Unfortunately, I cannot get her whole message. All right, there it is. Lisa says, crime cannot be solved by just a certain kind of government. Our situation reflects a failing in the church and family life as well. Yes, more programs and support for youths and disadvantaged persons need to be provided, but we would see great improvement if the church became what we should be. We should have prophets that are led by the Spirit and respected enough even by governments that they can give direction. We should have churches full of men that are able to help mentor the wayward young men that are our main criminals, just to start. And we have one more giveaway. Let me see who I'm going to give this to. Ruel Josias. Congratulations. You are the winner of a 32GB flash drive, sponsored by none other again than Megamark Computer Services. So for anyone who just tuned in and they're not sure what Megamark does, he's a computer servicing guy. Anything you need, guys, 733-6157 or 330-8791. Hardware installer. What's going on with my words? Hardware installation, data recovery, even to build up desktops, laptops, anything that you could think of. Even if you're unsure about it, just give him a call, all right? His number will be right here at the bottom of the screen. So just give him a call, all right? He's awesome at what he does. That's Megamark Computer Services, making computer servicing affordable, reliable, and secure. And let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors tonight, which were again Megamark Computer Services and Organic Heaven. Organic Heaven, you can get them at number 45 Saddle Road, Marval. You can contact them at 622-1768, all right? And you could also check out their Instagram page and stuff like that. You could make purchases online, the works, all right? So just give them a call, visit them, and you'll see how awesome the store is. And for all of you who commented, I want to say thank you. Have a great night and the rest of your weekend. And always remember, you could feel free to share. If you like what you saw tonight, make sure and like our page. Share it to all of your friends. And if you missed the show for some reason, our old shows, you could always get it on our page on Facebook, right? It's always saved there, and on YouTube as well. And if you want to get those live notifications, because we always want to be in contact with you, we always want to see you all viewing, and we want to hear what you're all saying live, because remember, all the comments are live. So you can click on that little notification bell so you can know when we go live, so we will be interacting with each other, right? Because that's what the show is about. All right, so that's Real Talk. Kyle will probably have a little stuff that he wants to close off with, but that's it from me, guys. Have an awesome night. It was really great spending this 1 hour with you all right? So we're going to go back to Kyle now. Enjoy the rest of your night and your weekend, all right? Bye from me.
Hey, awesome stuff, guys. I never stand there. They cry laughing just now. Apparently, our prophets, they prophesy about earthquakes and about the crime. And yeah, it's just funny. But anyhow, we want to thank Rodney for coming on the show. It was a blessing. And we encourage you. I don't know if it is you want to propose something to the government again in the near future. Yeah. That's your plan?
The term pearls before swine. Yeah. If they don't want it, they're not going to ask for it.
Yeah.
So, and they're not going to provide opportunities. So,
Well, I mean, like you never like somebody else going to like obviously times the switch like that. Maybe different people in power here and
plans like what I have jeopardize their pension, so to speak. The term they use is the pension.
yeah.
Don't touch people's pension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
So, for more times than not, it's unlikely anybody will ever say to me, "Hey, come help us fix this thing."
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. to
It's
hear that, but-
unfortunate that that's the reality of what life is here in Trinidad.
Yeah, I encourage you not to give up. Yeah.
It's always there. It's sitting in my computer. You
Yeah,
know.
well, I mean, it's like somebody else, and like whoever
Yeah.
is the next, like elections coming up, sure it has somebody who like in
I'm
power.
always willing to help.
Yeah, and they're gonna their speech, because whoever in
Maybe you
community.
should run for elections, Rodney.
No, I can't. Wrong passport. I don't have the right
okay,
passport.
okay. Oh.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm a constituency. Go up, maybe you could become a community leader. I'm just joking, but
No, he don't
You gotta
have
be
the face
careful.
for it.
You gotta be careful how you say
You
that.
don't have the face for it.
let's see your dress. Okay, I want to make sure.
You need a tie.
You need a tie. Hey, we thanks for coming on the show. We want to thank everybody for viewing. Look out for the next 2 weeks. We have our next hot topic coming up. You all stay tuned. You all God bless. Unica, Mark, Kyle, Rodney. We out.
Very weak.
Thank you so much for being part of the show. I hope you really enjoyed it. You can go on over to our YouTube channel and click subscribe. You can also click on that bell at the bottom and you'll be able to get live notifications. For our Facebook viewers, remember to like, comment, and share, guys. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And if you'd like to come on down and be part of our live audience, we are located at number 12 Anna Street, Woodbrook. Have a great night. Thank you for being part of the show. Good night.